Good afternoon. Today we are continuing on working with things in real context. So we are doing CO37. Today we're going to be doing scale drawings in real context. Now, if it is a scale drawing, it's still going to be with those proportions. So you think about a picture that's the whole, like a map, the whole entire town. But we can't put that whole entire town on a piece of paper for us to see the map, right? We have to scale it down proportionately so it can be handheld, so we can see it in a smaller area. But it's scaled down proportionately. So a scale drawing, the definition would be a copy of an object that is proportional to the dimensions of the original object. Now, when I was a senior in high school, I decided to go to Marquette University, which was in Milwaukee, and I lived here in Minnesota. And my roommate and I, my good friend from high school, we decided to room together for freshman year. We were trying to decide how we wanted to decorate our dorm room, you know, preparing for when we went away to school. And my dad, who's an engineer and very much into the math side of his brain, he took the measurements of the bed and the desk and the dresser, the two beds, the two desks, the two dressers, and the size of the room, and he made proportionate, scaled down drawings on graph paper and cut out two beds, two dressers, and two desks, and he and my mom would sit there at the table after dinner and come up with different ways that we could rearrange our dorm room for when we went to college. And now me, being 18 at the time, was like, psh, I don't want my mom and dad telling me how to decorate my dorm room and how to arrange it. And I was so proud of my roommate and I when we came up with an arrangement for our room that my parents had never come up with. But people truly do scale drawings all the time. Right? My parents did it to me when I was going to college. They took the big bed and they made it onto a little piece of paper so we could just sit at the table and figure out how we could get it all to fit in the room. Different ways we could organize it and set it up. Like I said, it works with maps. You can use a map of the United States. Well, the United States is huge, but we can put it down to a poster on our wall. It's scaled down proportionately. And you will see sometimes when you look at maps, they'll have the little scale key where you can see, oh, for 1 inch, that is the same as 300 miles, right? Or whatever it says. So you can say, okay, 1 inch is equivalent to 300 miles. It's proportionate. So you can scale it down and know how far away things are. So, in the map below, each of these squares represents 1.5 miles. You're going to use that to answer these two questions. So let's look at the first one together. It says, how far is it from the Camelback mountain range, which is I-4, so I need to go over here and say, okay, this row is I need to go out to the 4, so right here is I-4. In the middle of the Camelback mountain range, I have to go to the specific spot they're telling me. How far is that to the southern forest, which is I-12, which is right here. So knowing that each square is 1.5 miles, how far is that distance? How many miles?
13.5.
Not 13.5. Remember, when we start with our measurement, do we count this first square as one? So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 squares. 8 squares would be how many miles? Henry?
This would be 12 miles.
Yeah. So 8 squares, so 8 times that 1.5 miles gives us 12 miles. Our next question says, how far would you need to swim to get from one side, C9, so that's your starting point, of Hastings Cove to the other, to C14? So if we're starting at C9, that's not 1, that's 0. That's our starting point. And count it over. You're going to do that on your own. You're going to do it on your own. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. We don't have this. This is an easy lesson today. So I'm not going to do it all together as the whole class. So you're just going to write down what you think the answer is, and we will do that tomorrow. We will correct it. The bottom part, this is what made me think of my dorm room, because they took that first floor of a house and they scaled it down. And they're saying, okay, these are the different rooms of the house. We need to try to fit these pieces of furniture into the room. So in the bedroom, the upper left, so right up here, in the bedroom, draw a bed that is 8 feet by 5 feet, keeping in mind that each square represents 1 foot. So if that bed is 8 feet by 5 feet, a dresser that's 3 feet by 4 feet, and a desk that is 2.5 feet by 3.5 feet. So you need to fit all those pieces of furniture. So draw the rectangles and label them, and draw them the correct dimension, the right size, and see how you can make it fit. So if we're going to put our bed that's 8 feet by 5 feet, each square is a foot, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This might be my bed. And then I would label it. So if I put the bed there, where would I put the dresser? Where could I put the desk? Now, I'm not going to look at it and say, well, you can't open the door if you put it there. I'm not going to get nitpicky on it. But in real life, would it matter?
Yes.
Would you want your bed in front of the door? Okay, so in real life, it would matter exactly where it goes. For this sake, I'm not worrying about where the doors are. You can try to make it all fit and not be in the way of the door, but I'm not going to mark it wrong for that. So you need to put a bed, a dresser, and a desk all in the bedroom. Then in the family room, which is the lower right, draw a couch, an entertainment center, a table, and a desk that will all fit into that room. Okay, so you're going to do your best. Now when it says 1.5 feet, how many squares would that be? Clara? 1.5 squares. Okay, so with my marker, you're not going to see it so well, but you're going to draw, that line would be at the middle of the square instead of the full square. Okay. Then we do have some things in our picture already. So we need to look at that bathtub. Here is our bathtub. What is the area? Oh, what is the area of the bathtub? So what do you think we need to do? Elliot? The length times the width of the bathtub. Now, we don't want to know how many squares the bathtub is. You need to convert it, right? So find that length in feet. Your answer should be how many feet squared is the bathtub? convert the squares to the feet, and then give me the area. Then it says, what is the perimeter of the entire floor plan? So perimeter is what? What does perimeter mean, Henry?
You're adding up all the sides.
Adding up all the outsides. So you're gonna add how many square lengths, go all the way around, convert it to feet. So we wanna have our answer in feet. What is the area of the floor plan? Length times width in feet. What is the area of the second largest room? So you're gonna have to look at all 4 rooms. You got the bedroom, the kitchen, the family room, and the bathroom. The second largest room, what is its area with the feet squared? So make sure you're converting it to feet. Don't leave it just as squares. Any questions on this? Now, on your paper, sometimes when it gets copied out, it might get a little blurry. If you need to come up and count the squares up close with it bigger, you can. Okay. Just try not touching the screen because that might make things go wonky. Okay. So work out putting all the furniture in that you need to put in, correct sizing, make sure it all fits. It can't be on top of each other. You wouldn't put a desk on top of a dresser. That won't work. Said I don't care about doorways, but I do care that there's enough space, floor space, for all your pieces of furniture. And then do your perimeter and areas on the bottom. When you finish, because this usually doesn't take the whole class time for this objective, when you finish, you can work on your math packet. You can work on your bibliography for Social Studies History Day. You can work on something for a different class. Kind of a quiet, calm work time. Any questions? All right, if you're watching this at home, I hope you are well, and I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day, and don't forget to like and subscribe.